This is probably why you're poor and working a job that you hate. By the way, it's 5 in the morning right now. I woke up at 4:30. I poured myself a cup of coffee and said, holy smokes, am I inspired. This is for my artist friends. No, this is for my independent artist friends who love to create and make music, and all I want to do is be an artist, and I'm still working at Starbucks, or I just haven't ever released anything because it's got to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist. I believe that this is why I'm not broke and I'm not working a job that I don't hate. Wait, let me say that right. This is why I'm not broke, and this is why I'm working a job that I love. Still, 15 years later. And I'll get to the reasons why I think that this idea and the way of thinking as a creative is going to change everything for you versus maybe what you've been told. And in the spirit of being honest, here we go. 2010, Winter Olympics are happening. I'm living in my dad's basement, making $100 a week. I didn't come from money. My family didn't come from money. My family, worship leader and a teacher. Now, how much money do you make as a worship leader at a small church and a teacher? I don't know. You're probably raking in the racks at $65K a year combined. And they have 2 kids. Getting a new pair of shoes was like Christmas morning. So I got 1 pair of new shoes every year, and sometimes they were cleats for football. So anyways, flash forward. I'm living in my dad's basement. I graduated college. I was making $100 a week, so poor. I hear We Are the World's gonna be re-released. I think to myself, well, we're in the internet age right now. Again, in 2010, I can post whatever I want. I can create whatever I want. This We Are the World remake is coming out, I think it was like February 10th, 2010, the Winter Olympics. When I caught word of that, actually no, a friend of mine told me this. And I said, we should remake this with all of our neighborhood friends. And most of the people in my neighborhood had never sang a song and released it ever. So we got everybody together, we re-recorded this thing. It was very cheesy. But sometimes the things you think are really bad, people love. And sometimes the things you think are amazing, people don't really listen to or care. I've had that happen way too many times. And if I let that become who I am, I never release anything in my entire life. I never make any video in my entire life. The minute I get criticism from somebody else, I'm going, oh, I gotta stop. No. So I get all my neighborhood friends together. We make this song. I drop the video the night before they release the song. They released the song on the Winter Olympics at the ceremony. It goes directly to YouTube right after it was on NBC or whatever. And at the time, that video was the most searched for video in YouTube history. And YouTube was young. I think YouTube was 2006, so this is 4 years later. It had matured, it had been purchased out by Google, and they were doing this whole thing where you had the front page, and you saw it was on the front page because it was popular. That song was the most searched for video in YouTube history. And my video that I released with my neighborhood friends, our little community video, was right on the tail end of that thing. So that would pop up, and mine was right there. And so people would go to We Are the World, and then they'd find Tyler Ward and crew right after. Did 100,000 views that evening. I woke up the next day, it was 250,000 views, and it kept growing and growing and growing. I thought to myself, this is unbelievable. This was before algorithms even existed. So I just kept going, you know what? Let's keep rocking this thing. So I released 2 songs a week with my friends. My catalog is probably 450 plus songs. At one point, I was doing 3-4 million monthly listeners. The Spotify checks were nice. They were like between $35,000 and $55,000 a month. And I invested that and bought a bunch of property. Now I'm an accidental landlord. And alongside the monthly listeners growing, there were brand deals that would come in, YouTube revenue that would come in. So there was a moment in time where, man, I went from $100 to life-changing money. And guess who owned it? No, not a label. This guy. I paid my royalties. I paid my friends. And then the rest of the money, it would come in and I would just put that money to work. And now I don't have to even work ever again. And my family won't even have to worry about money ever again. Why? Well, Tyler, you have all the skills and talents. I didn't get even started in this music space until I was 26 years old. That was the first song I ever put out. And it should have come out at 22. But when I was 22, I was making these songs. I was like, I don't think anybody's going to like me. And there was a standard. And you had to get signed. And you had all these people who were like looking at you. You had to do a deal, and there's gatekeepers, and then YouTube came and destroyed all of that. And I was at the very, very, very beginning of that, and I get chills thinking about it. I'm so, so grateful because I didn't have to sign a deal. And when the labels came knocking, I said, no, 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 no. And then I did one in Germany and in France, and they were like, we'll give you all this money. You can make a record. We're going to put it out under Sony, and then you can keep the rights worldwide. And I was like, this is like the first deal of its kind. So let me fix my hair. So I did one of the first big licensing deals where I got to keep all of the master royalty except in Germany and France, and they promoted it as if it was a normal record. After that moment, I decided there's absolutely no way I'd ever sign a deal unless it actually made sense and I had a single that was just whoo. Flash forward to today. I stopped making music for about 4 years and I still get 1 million monthly listeners, which is insane. I don't understand how that works. It's probably because the catalog is so huge. But I started a company, and I run a company called Songhouse, and we release a video every single day, except Sundays, because we want to honor Sundays, just because we want to take time off. We don't do anything on Sundays. We release a video every single day, and all I see is artist after artist after artist after artist after artist, and they're so damn talented. They're so much more talented than I've ever been gifted when it comes to music. But the one thing a lot of the people that I see over and over and over lack kind of catapulted me to the top. There are so many more talented people than I am. I will hands down admit that. But there are not a lot of people who will go, I'm going to try this. And if it fails, that's okay. I'm going to try this. And if it fails, that's okay. And I'm going to try this. And then when it works, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And people get so in their head. They get so in their head that they never release anything because it's not perfect. Well, what if it looks bad to the outside in my brand? No one cares about your brand. No one cares about you. They're not thinking about you. They're not like, oh my gosh, this person just released another video. No, the algorithm is one of the most beautiful things that we could ever have as creators, because if it finds its audience, it finds its audience. And if the algorithm puts you in a place where your video's not getting a lot of love and a lot of traction, make a better song, make a better video. You have good songs with great performances and they become really great songs. You have great songs with shitty performances, no one cares. If you have an excellent hit song and you can't deliver it because you're just not cut out for it, because just be honest with yourself and be like, could someone else sing this better? Probably. But should you put it out, test it, and try it? 100%. Because no one's actually thinking about you. No one cares if you put out something that's bad. I'm putting out videos right now and no one cares. And guess what? That's okay. I remember in the early days, I burned out. That's true, because I did it for like 5, 6, 7 years, and I just always thought I was going to be poor. So I just kept hustling. And then I realized, oh my gosh, what I've done in the past has actually changed over time and gotten better. And now we as artists, we as creators, it's the best time to live, because content has to be great, content has to be put out frequently, and it doesn't matter if your content isn't working, because you can always do it tomorrow. And if your song does not hit like you want it to, like, I really love this song and I believe in this song, and it just gets the 1,000 views, the 600 views, the 12, write a better song. Make a better piece of content. Make people care, but put things out. Because if you don't put things out, no one can find you. And if no one can find you, no one really cares. And then you're just going to sit there going, man, I just wish I would have done the music thing. And you're going to blame the algorithm. And you're a lazy piece of work because the algorithm is your friend. I'm going to wait till the labels find me. I know I'm such a good performer. No one cares about you. So do it now, because if you don't do it now, if you don't do it today, if you don't put your art out right now, then they really don't care. And I'll be honest with you, I've been in that space. When I was 22 years old, I started making a record because I did not want to spend money, because making music was really expensive. It was like $5,000 a track, and I made $100 a week. So I just was like, I'm gonna learn it. So I spent time educating myself. I learned multiple different versions of softwares to make music. I learned what plugins were. I learned what all the things that's intimidating. I was just like, what's my best teacher? YouTube! We don't need school anymore. It's right there on the freaking computer. It's crazy. Make the mistakes. Fail. Find someone who's teaching how to do a program and try it for yourself, and then go, I don't really like how they teach. Then find somebody else. But spend the time learning, because all of the tools are in front of us. And if you don't understand that as a creator, if you want to work at Starbucks for the rest of your life and make great art, go ahead. That's your prerogative. Go ahead. But if you don't want to be poor and you want to do something you love and you want to get out of that job over there, take a risk. Find some good people to work with. Learn. Take the time. Educate yourself. We live in one of the greatest eras of all time. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to know certain people. All you got to do is make content that moves people. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but once you get it, gosh, it's one of the most freeing things. You're not beholden to anybody else. You can release when you want. You can do what you want, but it is up to you. So you have to become the CEO of your own company. And you have to go, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to take this serious like my job. The people who are going to win, they're going to try things. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. And sometimes it's just not going to work. And for some people, it doesn't work for years. And for some people, it works within the first couple weeks. But if you're an artist and you're a creator, then why are you getting in your own way and being like, well, I don't want to make content? I get it. I don't want to make content. But when you get the perfection thing out of your brain and you just go, I got to get it out there because it's me and it's real. And is it true? Is it true to you? That's the question you can ask. This is true to me. Are you proud of it? Yeah, I'm proud of it. Like, well then stop thinking, put it out, and then move on. Move on. Some people spend 5 years making one song. No one cares about your one song. They're going to hear and go, that's cool. Moving on. They consume so fast, they move on. They consume so fast, they move on. God, it makes me so frustrated. If you want to stay poor, just continue doing what you're doing and don't release anything. Now, there's a lot of empathy there. I've been there in that space where I was hindered by fear. We live in a day and age where the algorithm will tell you if it's working, especially if you're a new creator. You got 200 views on something, and in this video you have 2,000 or 3,000 views. You did something different that connected with someone. You got a little bit more engagement, you got a little bit more comments, you got a little bit more likes and saves. The algorithm is telling you like what is working. Now stay true to who you are and try a bunch of things. Try a bunch of things. It's one thing that gets in the way of the artists that we work with the most is they have a fear of taking control of their own art and they're waiting on people to help them. You just need to be educated. Songhouse will forever exist and I believe will be one of the biggest companies in the next 5 years because there will always be creatives with hesitation and fear. And the minute you get out of hesitation and fear, you can own the world and you won't be broke and working a job you hate. I say that with a lot of grace. It takes time. It takes hard work, it takes learning, it takes smarts, it takes getting with your friends and just making things, but it's not content for content's sake. There's a difference between putting content out for content's sake and there's a difference between this is really good and I believe in this, then you put it out. Does that make sense? There's a fine line. You'll learn it, start doing it. Love you guys.